Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the June 17th business meeting of the Arkansas Highway Commission. I'm Philip Taldo, Chairman of the Commission. Thank you all for being here today in person and on our live stream. The agenda for today's meeting is up on the screen, but before we get started, please stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I have some general reminders for everyone who may be speaking or presenting at today's meeting. We want to make sure everyone is heard as clearly as possible, so please ensure your microphone is turned on when you speak and speak directly into the microphone to ensure the audio is picked up well. As you all know, the June meeting is when we move into the executive session to conduct the director's annual performance evaluation. This will be done at the conclusion of the regular meeting. So this brings us to our first order of business, which is approving minutes from the April 1st commission meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Next is the approval of the minute orders for this meeting. All minute orders will be held for signing until after the meeting concludes. Commissioners, please remain in your seats at the conclusion of the meeting prior to the executive session to sign the minute orders. If you have any questions or comments about the minute orders as they are being read, please let me know. For the reading of the minute orders, I will call upon Dave Parker, who is head of our communications division. Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As always, minute order 1 has to do with the actions taken by the purchasing committee. This is asking for approval of those actions since our last commission meeting. Minute order 2, this is formal request to authorize payment of dues to the Transportation Research Board, the TRB, at a cost of $152,481. Again, this is for the annual membership into the TRB. Minute order 3 out of District 6, Pulaski County, simply a matter of changing property or land status to surplus. This is a piece of land related to job number CA 0602 in downtown Little Rock. Minute order 4, again dealing with land issue out of Newton County, District 9, changing a piece of land to surplus. This land is identified as job number 009616, also known as Jasper Southeast. Minute order 5, this is an improvement project asking for authorization to proceed with safety improvement projects at 3 railroad crossings. Two railroad crossings, excuse me. Minute order 6 in Crittenden County, District 1, again, an improvement project, calling for approval to enter into agreements for the use of Economic Development Incentive Quick Action Closing Funds and to proceed with surveys, plans, construction improvements for the construction and operation of an advanced manufacturing facility at the mega site in West Memphis. Minute order 7, Madison County District 9, calling for authorization for plans and construction of safety improvements at the intersection of Highway 412, 412 Business, and Highway 45. Minute order 8, District 4, Sebastian County. This minute order calls for the transfer of portions of Highway 253, Section 1, and Highway 255, Section 3 from the state system to the city of Barling, and then adding Frontier Road as a portion of Highway 255 Section 3 to the state highway system.
Got a question. Jared, some people have asked me about that. When do we expect that project to be fully completed and this transfer take place?
So the transfer can take place after you approve this minute order, and as soon as Jesse notifies everybody that it's done. It's my understanding that project is wrapping up. We have to bill the college there for that partnering funding that they contribute to the project, but
Right.
we're all but done. Chad, do you know when it's going to complete?
It's substantially complete now, but as far as the final, it'll be a couple of
Yeah, so it takes us a couple of months to final out a job after
Yeah.
the construction.
Is it completely open?
Yeah, yes,
Completely open?
yes.
Okay, very good, thank you.
All right, continuing on, minute order 9 in districts 4 and 9. This minute order calls for the numbering of certain portions of the Springdale Northern Bypass as Interstate 42. Minute order 10, Benton County, numbering the Northwest Arkansas National Airport, XNA, the access road there, and to place it under the state highway system. The access road would be Highway 642, Section 1. And finally, we reach minute order 11, authorization to consider to do a planning study to determine the needs and feasibility of a future highway connector from the Interstate 55 interchange with Washington Avenue to Highway 226 in Jonesboro.
I think that's supposed to be 555.
555, thank you, Sarah. 2 errors today, and my apologies.
One
And
other
that-
question. Back to the West Memphis, the minute order concerning West Memphis. Would you mind taking a minute just to talk about that a little bit? I've been asked about that, and I didn't provide adequate responses. So I think some people want to know what's going on. Is this the highway department going to be paying for any roads that are going to be built?
Sure,
that kind of thing? Do
absolutely.
you-
Be glad to. So there's a site just west of West Memphis that's, people have been hoping to develop that into a mega manufacturing plant or something of that nature for years. And now there is a company that's shown interest in that. And at the fiscal session, you see the legislature allocate some funding to that effort, $150 million to the roads that RDOT would help deliver that project, and another $150 to things inside that mega site, inside that campus. But this minute order gives us the authority to deliver a project to help expedite that work at no cost to the highway fund. So that $150 million comes from the legislature. We appreciate that. There is some talk at the federal level about some potential earmarks for this. If those come, we would utilize those for this effort as well. But this minute order gives us authority to move forward with developing that project using those external fund sources.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And if I can just add that, the location of that is Interstate 40 near the Highway 147 interchange, just to add to that and to redeem myself. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You need to keep talking. Thank you, Dave. I will now turn the meeting over to Director Jared Wiley. Director Wiley, the meeting's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of things, too, on the minute orders. The Interstate 42, that's something that Oklahoma came up with that idea several years ago, and Congress authorized that corridor. And it's kind of exciting. Our Springdale bypass may be the first Interstate 42 shield in the country on that stretch. And so our aim is when we cut a ribbon on that this summer, late summer, early fall, that we put those Interstate 42 shields up, and then XNA comes right along with it. So a lot of good progress. All right, our first update today is from Mr. Kevin Thornton, our short timer here. He's going to talk to us about federal and state legislative issues.
Thank you, Director Wiley. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, since your last meeting in April, the state fiscal session of 2026 has concluded. As expected, Our appropriations bill for 2027 was enacted without any changes. Another bill of interest was transferring the Keep Arkansas Beautiful Commission from the Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism to us. I believe Director Wiley has a little more information on that later in this meeting. Shortly after the fiscal session ended, the governor called a special session to consider a tax cut. The tax cut bill that was enacted from this session is projected to reduce the state general revenue surplus by approximately $200 million in 2026. Even with a tax cut of $200 million, the projected general revenue surplus for 2026 is still over $500 million. Therefore, we expect to receive our maximum amount of the surplus, which is $50 million. Shifting our focus to Washington, congressional activity has intensified in recent months regarding transportation policy and infrastructure funding. The House has passed an appropriations bill out of their full appropriations committee for 2027. An analysis of the bill shows that the amount of new funding for 2027 is about $10.7 billion less than the amount that was provided in 2026. Because there is less new money available, Congress plans to make up most of the difference by using $7.9 billion in funding that was approved in earlier years but has not yet been spent. The unused funds come from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or the IIJA. In simple terms, instead of providing all new funding for 27, Congress is combining money that was already set aside but has not yet been used, plus the new funding to pay for transportation programs in 2027. The overall level of formula funding provided by the appropriations bill remains basically at the same level that we had in 2026. The $7.9 billion being repurposed includes $1 billion from the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure, or NEVI program. It's being moved to the Federal Aviation Administration. And $1.1 billion from the Federal Highway Infrastructure Program. It's being used to fund earmarks and truck parking grants. It is still too early to tell what the exact impacts will be to Arkansas's funding levels from these two programs. I'm sure we'll know more later as the details of this funding arrangement are worked out. It is also important to point out that this appropriation bill has only passed out of the House Appropriations Committee. It has not passed the House floor, and it has not yet been sent to the Senate Appropriations Committee or the Senate floor. There will be the opportunity for members of the U.S. House and U.S. Senate to make changes before it makes it to the President's desk for his signature.
Kevin, is that something that would need congressional approval to use the IIJA funds to make it whole?
Yes,
Oh.
yes, it would.
And tell me about, so you said the NEVI is moving over to FAA. What was the second program you said was moving?
It is the Highway Infrastructure Program.
And it's going where?
It's going to help fund the earmarks that will be included in the ultimate appropriation bill,
Okay.
and to some truck parking grants.
Truck parking. Okay, that's what I missed. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Commissioner,
Kevin?
oh, go ahead.
Only, you said they're gonna be used for earmarks. Are those highway earmarks, or are they just any congressman's earmarks?
The earmarks will be the ones that are included in the THUD bill. So it would include transportation projects, but it could include earmarks for other projects as well.
Okay, so they're gonna take from one fund, because it wasn't spent, and put it God knows where.
Yeah, and a point of clarification, so our staff, we've what we call obligated, we've utilized all the NEVI funds that we've been able to. So we got about 54 million in Arkansas. We've obligated 15, 16 million last count. So that accounts for all of our staff's time and our consultants' work on the plan and that first round of projects that still want to move forward. So we do stand to lose about 40 million out of that funding pot. The Highway Infrastructure Program, we're not sure if this takes the oldest money first or it takes all of that away from us. talked with our staff this week. We will be obligating that funding this week or next before the Senate passes anything. So we're going to shelter that so it won't impact Arkansas's balance. So we're not going to allow that to happen to us. We're going to use that funding before it gets swept away. So, yeah.
Another point to mention about the appropriations bill is that it contains community project funding for Arkansas. The funding included is $11.4 million for future Interstate 49 by Congressman Westerman, $11 million for future Interstate 57 by Congressman Crawford, $5 million for Highway 10 by Congressman Womack, $10 million for Highway 59 by Congressman Womack, and finally $7.7 million for Highway 72 by Congressman Womack. This totals over $45 million for important projects in Arkansas. Please remember that we do not yet know which projects will be included in the ultimate bill because the Senate has not released their earmarks yet. We look forward to seeing what those are. As you are aware, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act is set to expire on September 30 of this year. Therefore, Congress has been working on the next surface transportation bill. The House Transportation and Infrastructure, or House T&I Committee, passed their version of what will be the next Authorization Act. It is called the Building Unrivaled Infrastructure and Long-Term Development for America's 250th Act, more commonly referred to as the Build America 250. The bill would provide federal funding from 2027 until 2031, and it reflects a shift in priorities toward traditional transportation infrastructure. It places stronger emphasis on formula funding from the Highway Trust Fund for highways and bridges, as opposed to various other types of infrastructure that were included in the IIJA. There are also fewer competitive grant programs in this bill. Additionally, there is a new policy initiative designed to increase revenue to the Highway Trust Fund through the implementation of federal electric vehicle user fees. With respect to funding, Arkansas is expected to receive a total of approximately $3.95 billion over the 5 years of the Build America Act. Looking at the amount that is available to us for highway construction projects, it provides a 3% increase over the 5-year life of the act. This equates to an average annual increase of nearly $22 million a year. If it is enacted, there will also be changes to those grant programs. The Protect program, Carbon program, or Carbon Reduction program, and the NEVI program, those have been eliminated, while the funding for these programs appear to have been rolled back into the formula funds that we'll be receiving through the Build America 250. Funding for bridges has been increased on a national scale. $5.5 billion, it was the old amount, it's now increased to $9.2 billion, with 45% of this funding being allocated to off-system bridges and a local bridge grant program. As with the appropriations bill, please remember that the Build America 250 authorization bill has only been passed out of committee. It has not passed the House floor and has not yet been sent to the Senate. Director Wiley, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Kevin. Any more questions for Kevin? All right. All right, next up, Jesse Jones will give us an update on our bid lettings. We've had 2 bid lettings since your last meeting.
Good morning. Thank you, Director, Mr. Chairman, and Commissioners. Since our last meeting, we had 2 successful lettings, one in April and one in May. In April letting, 28 projects were awarded for a total of $90.7 million. 90 bids were submitted. 90 bids were submitted by 34 different contractors. All bids were rejected on 2 city projects and 1 county projects. In the May letting, we awarded 31 projects for a total of $23.7 million. 85 bids was submitted by 30 different contractors. The first project I would like to highlight is a resurfacing project on Interstate 40 from Highway 77 to Interstate 55 in West Memphis. Surface defects will first be repaired, then overlaid to create a new driving surface for this highly traveled interstate. This work will take place primarily at night to reduce the impact to the traveling public. The project was awarded to APAC Tennessee for $13 million. The estimated completion date is next year, in 2027. The next project I would like to highlight is a pavement preservation project that will resurface approximately 12 miles of Highway 62 in Carroll County. This work is between Eureka Springs and Berryville. The project was awarded to Emery Sapp and Sons for $7 million. The estimated completion date is late 2026. Next is a safety project that will realign the intersections of Highways 15 and 31 in Jefferson County. This project will simplify the intersection geometry to be more in line with driver expectation. It was awarded to 1911 Construction Company for $1.2 million, and the project will be completed late this year. The last project I would like to highlight is a pavement preservation project that will resurface approximately 10 miles of Highway 270 in Hot Springs County. This work begins at Interstate 30 and then proceeds southeast around Malvern and ends at the Grand County line. It was awarded to Cranford Construction for $3.4 million, and the estimated completion date is late 2026. Our next letting will be held next week on June 24th. We currently plan to let 22 projects that include 6 state highway projects and 4 CDA projects and 12 county road projects. Director Wiley, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Jesse. Any questions for Jesse? All right. We've been busy as always around the department since your last meeting. We've consolidated our activities on fewer slides. So on April 2nd was a busy day in Northwest Arkansas. I got the chance to sit down with Chairman Taldo's granddaughter and do an interview on KNWA. That was a great time. We also had a reporter from Kansas City come down and meet in the Northwest Arkansas office to talk about our litter efforts. It was really interesting to hear his perspective and some things that they've tried, and it's been worked for them up there. And so we're going to look at some of those, but they also learned a lot from what we're doing. So it was a productive discussion. Also was invited to join Mayor Orman for the Bentonville State of the City. That was another good event on April 2nd. It was a busy day in Northwest Arkansas. May 5th, I was invited to be on the A-State podcast with Heather Nelson. It was another good time. Talked about infrastructure growth in the region, the steel industry's impact on the workforce. If you hadn't had a chance to check that podcast out, please do. I hope you find it enjoyable and informative. We also met with Paragould. Commissioner Halsey and I sat with Paragould at their chamber meeting and talked about some projects in the area. And there's a picture up there. I had my first e-bike ride with the mayor after that. It was quite an afternoon. Kings Crossing, Interstate 55, that work continues on. The collaboration and coordination between RDOT, Tennessee DOT has been great and strong, and we've had a couple meetings since the last commission meeting as we work towards a final price for that project. Commissioner Gibson met with the governor on May 19th and with Congressman Westerman on May 29th to talk about important projects in Arkansas, most importantly Interstate 49. Some great discussions, and I appreciate your leadership in pushing Interstate 49 forward. We'll hear more about the STIP in a moment, but we've got some great work coming on 49 to make sure we don't lose any momentum there. Of course, we had hit several conferences and Rotary clubs, was asked to participate on the panel with ACEC. Some great panelists there. We had a good discussion. Joe Quinn, Don Weaver were there. That was a good event in Northwest Arkansas. Congressman Womack also came and spoke to the group there and brought his perspective about the next highway bill. I really enjoyed hearing from him. We attended and spoke at the Women in STEM Conference in April. That was a good event for high school students, mostly young ladies who might be interested in the STEM field. We host that annually and had a great turnout, 14 schools, 208 attendees, and we had a really good chance to meet with those students and tell them what a career in STEM can look like. AAPA Annual Convention, at the bottom left of your screen there was another great event. Park and his team do an outstanding job there every year. We always enjoy being there and participating, sharing what we're doing at RDOT, collaborating with those asphalt contractors and producers. Our Chief Engineer for Operations, Rex Vine, was honored for his commitment and collaboration with the contracting industry at that meeting. And we'll talk more about that in a moment, but Rex is also retiring soon. In May, I went to Jonesboro and Russellville to their Rotary clubs, and we had great discussions about litter, about funding, just real engaging groups. And then a couple of events to highlight here. We opened our Jonesboro office, open house, April 2nd and 3rd, had a two-part event there, great turnout. Appreciate that. I appreciate Congressman Crawford being there and helping us celebrate that day. We are optimistic about what that Jonesboro office will do for our team, especially in that region. Had a great interchange groundbreaking in Cabot just a few weeks ago, another big event, good turnout. Had a bird's eye view of the construction that's going on right there on Interstate 57. And then Vice Chairman Gibson was in Greenwood with them on June 4th to celebrate a phased opening. The part of the bypass opened 2 lanes of the bypass. I appreciate you being there, Vice Chairman, and speaking to the group. Do you want to say any words about that?
They're excited.
Excited about it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great project. Greenwood is much, much needed with the growth of that city. And so I think we've done a great job. And what I told them was we really appreciate the cooperation that we had with the city and the partnership. I think that's been exemplary.
Yes.
Some of the schools shared with me about that collaboration.
Yes, sir.
Really worked well. So, Mayor Kinsler's done a good job and done a great job there.
Yes. That project's a real testament to the power of the partnerships and that partnering funding that we have to work with cities and counties. Without that ability to have that funding and their willingness to partner with us, we wouldn't have been celebrating that opening that day. So we'll be back next year to celebrate the final product. So
Yeah, I think it's a great example of what can happen when the communities partner with us to get things done.
yes, sir. And you get another piggybacking off that, Congressman Womack's taking note, and he's allocated funding to that because of that. You know, he's allocated funding to the bypass and now to the widening project. So it's a good, big success. On June 4th and 5th, we had our general staff meeting. This is our annual leadership meeting that we talk about. We cast vision, talk about things we want to work on this year, collaborate, communicate. It's just always a good event. We held that at Mount Magazine again this year. Their facility was great. Appreciate Parks, Heritage, and Tourism for working with us, and we just about filled up their lodge that day, but it was a great time. And then June 11th, appreciate Chairman Taldo, Commissioner Holder, and Halsey being out at the annual Equipment Operators Rodeo, our 35th rodeo this year, 35th. We held it at the State Fairgrounds, and that was a great venue for us. There's more room to spread out, air conditioned for the events and the lunch, but we appreciate you guys being there and supporting the team. It really meant a lot to them and our staff. And that winning crew, those first and second place winners, will go to Virginia in October to compete for a regional award. Those guys are very talented. It's always good to see them operate equipment. And then the last item I want to highlight is the Work Zone Awareness Kickoff, April 17th. It's been 2 months now. It doesn't feel like it, but it has. We had a good turnout there where we kicked off the Work Zone Awareness Week, and all the tremendous work our staff has done with Slow Down, Phone Down, with social media messaging, with our partnership with our contractors, legislative efforts. Things are getting better out there every day for road safety, for worker safety, and for drivers, frankly, who are driving through work zones. But this event was meant to, memorialize some things there and show solidarity as we went ahead with work zone safety. Pardon me. We had Sandra and Terry Skaggs on hand with us that day. If you remember, Mr. Skaggs was hit by a dump truck when he was mowing on Highway 365 in October of '24, and there was question as to whether he would even live through that. He's recovering, fighting hard, but their story is powerful, and I'm glad they were there that day to tell us that story. We had a great turnout. Like I said, Lieutenant Governor Rutledge was there. She read a proclamation from Governor Sanders. Appreciated that. Commissioner Holder was there, and then we had a tremendous group of Highway Police and the RDOT employees. Mr. Park Estes was awarded our first ever Safety Partner Award. He's been an advocate, supporter, and partner for safety, bringing ideas and concepts and collaboration to the group. Park, we appreciate you and all you do. Thank you for that. And, we talked about this. I talk about it often. This is year 5 of Slow Down, Phone Down. Since we implemented that, we've seen results. We know that it's reaching the intended audience. Does it reach everyone? No. We have other tools. We're trying to make sure we reach everyone through other ways. But we want to close out Slow Down, Phone Down year 5 in a impactful way, telling stories from real world scenarios. So we have a perspective of a family member whose their family member who was a road worker was seriously injured in a work zone crash, and that's the Skaggs story. So we shot a video about that story. If you haven't seen it, I hope you look it up. We also interviewed our Highway Police Officer, Sergeant Shufra Day, to tell this story from a law enforcement perspective, what it means for travelers in a work zone who don't obey those guidelines and laws as they travel through, and what it might cost them. And then we also wanted to tell it from a coworker's perspective of somebody who witnessed one of their friends, colleagues being hit or killed in a work zone. And so the team did a great job on these. They're out now, but I do want to play one for you here in a moment. Mr. Robert Phillips, he's going to talk to you about his experience the day he saw his coworker and friend struck and killed by a motorist when they were setting up a work zone here in Pulaski County. This happened in January of '22. Tragic event for RDOT and the workforce, but please watch Robert's story here.
Mr. Petty was less than a year away from retirement. I'd even joked that maybe this would be his last job. He was working across the road from me placing signs. Then I heard a screech. So I turned to look. I see his body fly past me. He had been hit. Mr. Petty was a father, a friend. Hold on just a second. I'm sorry.
So we've released these 3 messages. You've seen the billboards up to just trying to end this again in a big way that people won't forget about. These are true stories. These are real people's lives that are impacted by this senseless behavior, right? One bad decision in a work zone, one moment that you pick your phone up and take your eyes off the road can change somebody's life forever and yours. And we want people to understand that. Everybody believes it would never happen to them. And unfortunately, it happens every day to people that don't expect it to. And so I appreciate them telling their story. There are longer form videos that we did with Robert and with the Skaggs family. Those will be out there in our new On the Dot documentaries page that we'll tell you more about in upcoming meetings. But those will be available too for more impactful. If you want to use them in events, I know Park reached out. We showed the longer video at an asphalt paving event, and Park asked for that video too to help tell the story, further that message. So they're there if anybody wants to borrow those. We'd love to share those with them. Yes, sir.
Are those available on the RDOT website?
They on the website, Parker?
Yes, a longer form, there's a 2 to 3 minute version of that, and the other 2 examples the director talked about on the website, yes. That's an actual spot that you're seeing out in various forms, social media forms, television, billboards, that sort of thing, part of a big campaign we started a couple of weeks ago. There-
So we can have access to those in social media and then share those?
Yes, yes, and anything like that, I can certainly make it available, and yes.
Well, I'd encourage everybody to share those on your social media and let the public see what we're trying to do here.
Yes, sir. We'll make sure you have all the three the shorter version links and the two longer ones. We'll get you those sent today. All right, it's that time of year. Every 2 years, we talk about our draft statewide transportation improvement program here, and it's that time of year. The STIP, as you remember, that's the department's playbook for project development. This is what our staff uses to develop projects. We add 2 years every 2 years so that we have a constant flow of projects. So at this time, I'd ask Jesse Jones, our chief engineer for pre-construction, to come up and talk about the draft STIP.
Thank you, Director. All right, so this is unveiling of the new cover. Statewide Transportation Improvement Program is a federally mandated 4-year planning document outlining proposed transportation projects that will utilize federal funds or are regionally significant. It serves as a coordinated state's to-do list of projects to be implemented in the next few years. Since earlier last year, our staff have been working really hard to put together this STIP. The current STIP covers federal fiscal years 2025 through 2028. The new STIP covers 2027 through 2030. It adds 2 years, like the director said, 2 years worth of projects to the STIP, 2029 and 2030. So next, let me walk through the STIP schedule with you. Today, we'll ask for your approval to release the draft STIP for public review and comment. Staff will send notices to newspapers, letting the public know about the availability of the draft STIP. There will be a 30-day comment period. During this time, we'll receive and respond to comments in kind. For example, if we receive an email, we'll respond by email. If we receive a letter, we'll respond by a letter. Also, we will coordinate with the 8 metropolitan planning organizations as they proceed with their public involvement for their own transportation improvement program. The 8 MPOs are Northwest Arkansas, Northeast Arkansas, Central Arkansas, Frontier MPO, Tri-Lake MPO, Texarkana MPO, West Memphis MPO, and Pine Bluff MPO. After we complete our public involvement and the MPOs adopt their TIP, we will present the final STIP to the Commission for approval in October. Upon your approval, we'll submit the final STIP to Federal Highways and Federal Transit Administration for their approval. So after today, after your approval to send the draft STIP for public review and comment, we'll also notify about 1,200 entities across the state about the release, in addition to the ads in the newspaper. Those entities include state and local governmental agencies, educational institutions, planning organizations such as planning development districts and other planning organizations, and also nonprofit organizations. So this map on the screen highlights projects that are included in the draft 2027 and 2030 STIP. Brown dots representing bridge replacement projects, and green lines representing capacity projects such as interchange improvements, major widening. Golden lines or dots, there are capital projects, new location, major widening, or intersection improvements. This year, we're putting the STIP together a little differently than the past. For the pavement preservation program, instead of listing each route or each project separately, we're allocating $300 million per year for the program. This approach streamlines our efforts in scoping and project development, eliminating duplicated efforts. Most importantly, we can be more flexible and respond to needs with the most appropriate treatment promptly. This draft STIP includes over 200 individual projects. That's not including the pavement preservation projects. Some new projects being added include continuation of I-49 from Barling to Alma. In this draft STIP, funding is also allocated for surveying work for I-49 from Texarkana to Y-City. As you're aware, south of Barling to Y-City, surveying is currently underway. We had held public involvement meetings a couple months ago. And then also continuation of I-57 from Walnut Ridge to Missouri state line. Also improve the Interstate 30 and Interstate 430 interchange. And also improve the Interstate 430 and Highway 300 interchange. Major widening of Highway 82 from Louisville to the Columbia County line. A new location connector from Interstate 55 to Highway 61 in Mississippi County, contingent upon partnership. So that concludes my report.
Any STIP questions or comments? No, if not, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have a motion so that we can release this STIP for public comment.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve.
Second?
We got a motion and second. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. It's approved.
Thank you, sir.
Director.
We'll get that out and start that comment process. Thank you, Jesse, for the update, and thank you to all the staff for the many hours of time and expertise you put into putting this STIP together. All right, we have a lot of things to cover today. Every June, we also have our financial update and our budgetary talk about the next state fiscal year's budget. So it's time to have that conversation now. Patrick Patton, please come up and give us a financial update and then run us through the proposed operating budget for fiscal year 27.
Good morning. So we've got one slide in here from our normal financial report. The rest of it you can find in your packet that we send out. So the slide that I chose to talk about was, since we are talking about revenue, where we are budgeted versus actual through April. So if you look at the motor fuel, we're under by 9.5 million and 3.1%. That still continues to be the refunding from DK Trading, which will go away once we close out this year. Amendment 101 funds, which are the half-cent sales tax, is over budget by 2.5 million, or 1%. Natural gas severance this year is holding strong at 14.6 million. It's over by 7 million. That's the one I always caution the commission about. It's very volatile. 3 or 4 years ago, we had 43, 45 million of it. So talk about that a little bit more in a little while. We will have an influx of cash at the end of the year, which is our state surplus, which Kevin stole my thunder. But since you're retiring, it looks like we're actually going to get our 50 million, and we had budgeted 46 because we thought it was going to come in at 185. They've updated their projections. I think it's 585 that they're thinking right now. So we're happy about that and hope it continues into 27. So we'll get that, and we'll get the 35 million in state surplus, or in, casino revenue. So actual through April is 693 million. We're over budget by 1.9, just pretty much flat. So like I said, the rest of your fiscal presentation can be found in your packet. Now we'll jump into the budget. So we go through the process, and I want to thank everybody for participating in the budget process. It worked real well this year. What you're seeing up here on the slide is the last 4 years' budget cycles. So the overall change between state fiscal year 26 and 27, which you see on the screen, is 2.5%. If you look at it over the last 4 years, it's actually decreased by 0.07%. So that just reiterates how flat our revenues are. The main change there was with natural gas. If you look at it, it was 40 million in 2024, and we're projecting 18 this year. Hopefully, my projection, or the budget group's projection, is wrong, and we're at 40 million again. If we look just at the revenue sources, motor fuel, as you can see, is flat. Registration fees are flat. Natural gas severance, like I said, is up. And the half-cent sales tax is flat. Once again, reiterating, flat revenues, operating expenses tend to rise, inflation, and et cetera. So this slide is where we look at our operating expenses that go against this budgeted revenue. And so for those that may be the first time to go through this, we've got our salaries, overtime, payroll additives, which is budgeted at 39%. That includes your Medicare, our retirement match, our state group insurance match. It's 39%. So whenever we talk about our increase in $1 of salaries, it's actually $1.39. So we always try to keep that in everybody's mind. As you go across, you see the less federal and other participation. I think Jesse was talking about some participation with a county here a second ago. That 85 million is what we're projecting will go against these operating expenses. It's not all the federal or participation we'll get, but it's what goes against this operating budget. So in net, we're projecting that we'll use 522 million of state funds against the budget that we have, that we just looked at, that's budgeting 931 million in revenues. So going to the highlights, looking at our salary highlights, this budget includes a 2.5% cost of living, or COLA, for approximately $6 million. Performance-based raises of $2.6 million through the Achieving Career Excellence program, or our ACE program. Those raises will average approximately 1%. So the total average of increase in salaries will be anywhere from 2.5% to 5% based on the performance-based pay scale. These raises aren't based on preset scoring levels. So nobody knows ahead of time what the raises are, to try to target raises for people by going through the performance evaluation process. This also includes budgeted promotions, which is 34 net increase in positions for 15.9 million. And then, like I said, we have 39% in there for our payroll additives. Next slide, we'll talk about our operating budget. Our main goal here at RDOT is to keep the surface transportation infrastructure in the best conditions possible. So in order to do that, we need to invest in our equipment and people. And so if you look, if our main focus this year in the budget highlights for operations was the road machinery budget. It increased, $6 million in total. So we're challenging Danny to use that for our districts and other divisions. We've committed funding to capital projects that are going to take place in 2027 for $8.8 million, which includes the District 6 site work, Central Tower remodel, and renovation and repairs. In the past, these would have been below the line as funds become available. But as Director Wiley has mentioned numerous times, we need to be doing some things about our facilities, and so this is a way to commit funds going forward and hold ourselves accountable on that. Information technology software maintenance costs continue to rise, and to maintain the systems that we need to operate, it increased $3.8 million. And so the basic element here for the increase in operational costs is obviously inflation and trying to keep up with our maintenance needs that we have. And that concludes my report. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Patrick. No questions?
Thank you.
All right, with
Commissioners, you have heard this recommendation to approve the state fiscal year 2027 operating budget as presented. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
Second.
We got a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you very much, Mr. Director.
Thank you, Commission. Thanks, Patrick, and all the other leaders in the room and watching on the live stream for all the work that went into that budget, too. We appreciate the way you efficiently use the limited dollars that we have. We appreciate that. On the upcoming events before your next meeting, of course, work will be suspended for the 4th of July holiday. That falls on Saturday this year, so the staff will have a day off on July 3rd on that Friday. On the 14th, I will be down near the Capitol for the Professional Engineers and Surveying Board meeting. That's a meeting that happens every 2 months. July 21st and 22nd, we will host our orientation for our interns here that we have every summer in Little Rock. We have a big group of interns. The last few years, we've had about 100 participants in that program. So it's a really good time for our staff to spend time with the interns, for them to spend time with our team, learning what a day in the life is like here at RDOT. It's a good program. July 23rd and 24th, our annual summer meeting for Good Roads will be held in Rogers. Appreciate Joe Quinn and the team for putting that on. That's always a good event. I believe this is the 5th one that we've held since COVID started. They're always a good time, a lot of great conversation. Joe, thank you for putting those on. It's a good time for us, for the commission, and for all those partners out there to interface with us. All right, in August, on August 6th, I'll be presenting to the Arkansas Concrete Pavement Association their annual conference in Hot Springs. On August 13th, Vice Chairman Gibson and I will go to Frontier MPO and talk to their group. It's a quarterly meeting, but we'll talk about some RDOT updates, things that are going on around the department. Looking forward to that conversation there in Fort Smith. And then back here, August 19th for the next Highway Commission meeting. A couple of other things I wanted to update you on before I turn it back to you, Chairman. We have some good news. We received a $1 million grant for an innovative finance and asset concession program. So big words there. Ultimately, this funding will be used by RDOT to conduct more in-depth analysis of our funding and financing opportunities as we talk about funding and, inflation eating up our buying power and the flat revenues. This will help us hopefully identify some innovative ways to combat that in the future. So happy to have this additional grant funding. Also, want to give you some updates on a couple of grant programs that have opened up and ask for your approval to submit applications. So the first is the Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety and Programs Grant Program. They call it CRISI for short. But we would like to apply for the maximum amount available. I believe it's $32 million. Yes, $32 million for that railroad overpass project in western Columbia County, just east of the Lafayette County line. That project we feel meets the criteria for the program, and it's our best chance at receiving funding. The next grant program that opened up was the Bridge Investment Program. This program, we did receive some funding for the Highway 49 bridge at Helena to rehab that bridge through this program. This is also the program that Tennessee received the funding for the Interstate 55 bridge through the large bridge program. But the staff recommends that we apply for $70 million for the project on your screen. This is an overpass there in Malvern. It's the Highway 270 bridge. It carries about 20,000 cars a day. The deck is getting pretty rough. If you guys have driven across that, you know what I'm talking about. We've had this project in the works for a while, but cost escalation is really getting to us on this project. So we recommend applying for a $70 million grant for this work. So with that, I would ask it for another motion to proceed with these two grants.
Commissioners, excuse me, Commissioners, do I have a motion to approve the grant applications for the projects as Director Wiley mentioned?
Second.
We got a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes, Mr. Director.
Thank you, sir. All right, I wanted to tell you about Mr. David Ross. So David Ross, he's our District 8 engineer, fantastic engineer, very, very bright guy. He was honored at the Academy of Civil Engineering at Fayetteville this year. He was inducted into their academy on April 17th. That event was held in Springdale. It's a great meeting, and I want to just congratulate David. He's not able to be here with us today. He had vacation, but several of our staff members are also members of the academy, but David is the newest member from RDOT. Also, the Asphalt Pavement Association awarded their annual Partner of the Year award. You may remember last year there were several of our inspection staff members team. They received partnering coins from Asphalt Paving Association members, but this award was given to Kyle Battenfield, who received one of those coins last year, as their annual Partner of the Year award. So it's a big deal for Kyle. It really shows the way that he has embraced partnering. He understands how important it is to get quick answers, to make good decisions, to not let things sit around, and he's just another one of our great employees out there in operations who are helping us keep projects moving in the right direction. I'm glad our partners on the contracting side noticed Kyle's efforts, and they saw fit to award him that award. And I'm told his wife was there that day too, and neither of them knew that he was getting that award, so it was a really great surprise for both of them. The work continues on Street Smart. You remember that we created this program. Director Tudor got us started down this path after we heard about what Georgia was doing with a similar thing. The middle school material was released last year with the press conference with the Department of Education. Since we released that, we've had over 200 schools or school districts request our material, so that's great news for us, but we're still working hard to get the word out. We presented to the group on May 8th, the Governor's Outdoor Education Initiative workshop at that conference. So we presented to the group there to get the word out. In July, we'll be at the Department of Education Summit. We'll be able to reach teachers directly there to show them the program and show them that we've done all the work for them. It's pre-built. They just need to take it and fold it into their lesson plans. It's just another way we're working to improve work zone safety and improve safety for our travelers all across the state. These efforts, we believe, all the little things we're doing are going to make an impact when combined into one. So that's moving forward. But my big update for you guys is that we shot the high school material in May. And so we shot 10 new videos. We covered topics like speeding, litter, emergency preparedness, impaired driving, and what to do when you're pulled over by an officer, how to safely navigate around commercial motor vehicles, about blind spots and things to watch out for, and of course work zone safety. So I've seen 3 of those new videos. We also have a roundabout video. I've seen 3 of those new videos, but I want to play you one of those videos now that touches on litter.
I don't see why you're so worried about this trig test.
All I'm saying is that if I failed that trig test, I'm just gonna pretend it didn't happen.
You know that's not how grades work.
Come on.
It's just a little trash.
Have some pride in where you live. Don't junk it up. And honestly, it's actually kind of dangerous.
How?
Stuff like that can hit someone or make drivers swerve in the road, especially if it's bigger than all of this. And think of the people who have to go out and clean up the litter. It's dangerous for them too.
Right. Well, I didn't think about it that way.
And actually, it's illegal. Like, you can get fined for that.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, you'll get a ticket. Then you have another piece of trash to worry about, one that costs money.
Good to know before I tried it. All right. You want to save the world real quick?
One nasty bag at a time.
Say street smart. If this spills on me, I'm blaming you.
You know, that's fair.
So the work continues on that, and I'm really proud of that product. Our next step is to go to elementary school and do the same thing next year. And so we'll have material that covers all ages and curriculum for everyone. So stay tuned for that. In the spirit of litter, you know, we're focusing on litter. It's a big problem for our state. We've talked about that here. Kevin mentioned earlier, Keep Arkansas Beautiful now will be moving to RDOT, our agency, at the first of the fiscal year. We're excited to have them. It will amplify what we're doing, and we think we can amplify their efforts as well. So we're looking forward to that. They come with a staff of 3 employees, and they do a lot of work with 3 employees, I'm gonna tell you. But we're looking forward to seeing what they can bring to RDOT, how we can support them, all in the interest of keeping our natural state more natural. And so be on the lookout for new developments there coming up. All right, I want to wrap up with this. You guys know we got 3 big retirements coming up, and I wanted to just spend a few minutes telling them thank you for their service today. This is their last Highway Commission meeting on the payroll for sure. So Rex Vines, our Chief Engineer for Operations, he's retiring next month with 33 years of service with RDOT, just a month shy of 34 years. Rex started in 1993 in the WIN, Resident Engineer Office. I'm not going to read all his promotions, but I want to read some of his notable ones. He promoted to Resident Engineer in Osceola in 2001, District Construction Engineer in 2004, District Maintenance Engineer, he moved over there in 2008, and then made District Engineer in 2014 in WIN. He moved to Little Rock as Assistant Chief for Operations in 2019, and he assumed the role of Chief Engineer in 2021. Rex has done a lot of work over his career, built strong partnerships with our contractors. He's a great guy to get along with. He understands the big picture and the vision, and we're certainly going to miss Rex when he retires on July 24th. Rex, thank you for your service. Do you want to say any words?
Thank you. It's been an honor to serve the department, to serve the commission and the state of Arkansas.
I wish you all. Wish you all the best, Rex. Thank you for all those years of dedicated service. We also, Kevin Thornton, as we said earlier, he's retiring in July with 41 years with our agency, nearly 41 years. He started in '85 as a summer employee, began work in roadway design full-time in 1986. A year later, he moved out of roadway to construction. He didn't last long in roadway, and he did construction for 20-some years. And met Kevin my first day on the job as an intern in Hot Springs. In 2011, Kevin moved to Programs and Contracts Division. He assumed the title of Assistant Chief Engineer for Planning in 2014, Assistant Chief of Administration in 2020, and in 2023, Chief of Administration with the reorganization of the department. Kevin's overseen a lot of electronic and data initiatives. He helped us modernize the construction field with the implementation of Site Manager and made many frequent trips around the state, getting buy-in with everyone, and found all the good restaurants around the state. I remember I ran into you one time in Harrison. I was on the road and you were on the road. But anyway, Kevin has put in over 4 decades of service with us, and we're better off for it. Thank you, Kevin.
Well, I think Rex said it very well, but I certainly appreciate the opportunity through the 40 years, all the opportunity that the department's given me, and it's been my honor and privilege to have served. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And then last and certainly not least, Mike Fugit, our Assistant Chief Engineer for Design, has announced his retirement as well. Mike's retiring in July. These guys are all leaving on the same day, and And there's a reason for that. It's because, well, they're ready to go, and they wanted to make it easier on us and me as we transition in our staff. So I thank you guys for doing that, deciding when you knew you were ready to go that you all coordinated that so we can make a change all at the same time. That's really going to help us bring some more stability to these changes. But Mike has spent, on July 21st, you have 40 years, right, Mike? 40 years with the department. He started in '86 as a civil engineer 1 and worked in roadway for years, advancing through the ranks. In '02, he became staff design engineer. I remember Mike sending you FWD files back in the day when I was on the road for designing pavements. He made division head of roadway design in 2010, and then in 2012 he assumed his current title of assistant chief engineer for design. Mike is leaving us with a tremendous amount of design experience, expertise, and problem solving. And I know you've mentored folks well, Mike, through the years, but we're certainly going to miss your 4 decades of knowledge. Would you like to say any words? Mike's a quiet guy. You want to say anything? We're putting you on the spot, Mike.
Like the other guys said, it's been a pleasure to work here, to represent the department with all the changes and improvements we've made over 40 years. And all the different commissioners that we've worked with have been wonderful. Appreciate you guys. And all of our directors. And just the staff in general. You know, we're good at what we do. And it's been a pleasure to make Arkansas a better place. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Director. If there are no other businesses to be discussed, we are now ready to move into executive session to conduct the Director's performance evaluation. For that, I will need a motion. Do I have a motion to move to executive session for the purpose of the annual performance evaluation of our Director?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. We're going to move to the 10th floor, the executive conference room for our session. This will be the only business left to conduct at this meeting in case anyone needs to leave. When we've finished, we will review. With the review process, the commission will return to this room. In order to return to our public meeting, I need a motion to close the executive session and reopen the regular business meeting. Do I have a motion, please?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. The commission has completed their evaluation of Director Wiley. In the executive session, the commission found his performance to be exceptional and exceeding expectations. As a result of that, we have taken action to award Director Wiley a 5% pay increase for the state fiscal year of 2027. To make it official, we will now need to ratify it. I'll entertain a motion to do so.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. If there are no other business to come before the commission, this meeting is adjourned.